Are we alone in the universe? Were we created by a higher power? Or are we the result of some cosmic accident? Why are we even here? Should I buy hiking shoes? Or should I buy hiking boots? Well, I can answer one of those questions. So oftentimes when people are talking about buying hiking shoes versus hiking boots, that's because they're relatively new in the world of hiking. And if that's your case, welcome aboard. Hi. So what's the big attraction to boots? Well, boots are awesome. These look really cool. These scream professional outdoors person, whereas these scream suburban dad at a barbecue. Also cool in its own way. So oftentimes people see the sexiness of some cool hiking boots and they're like, that's legit, that's real gear, that's what I need. Oftentimes what I see when people are talking about hiking shoes versus hiking boots is they will list the stats of either as if we're in a video game. These have more speed and they give you more stamina, and these have more stability and strength. And while that is kind of technically true, the world isn't a video game as much as I'd like it to be. And really what we're dealing with is a situation that's a lot more nuanced, a lot more preferential, and a lot more anecdotal. So I'm going to talk about a couple experiences I had and then use those experiences to help guide you in your decision-making process here. So recently, I did a shoot in West Virginia for our TV show Epic Trails. We went rock climbing on a Via Ferrata, where I wore these, and they were perfect. We did some caving, also wore these, perfect. And we did some more technical day hikes where I wore these. And then I did a backpacking trip where we stayed overnight in the Cranberry Wilderness, and I wore these. And this gives me something to talk about because that was a mistake. I didn't know the conditions quite as well as I should have. We had hiked from up on top of a mountain down into a riverbed, and there was a lot of moisture. The ground was soaked through, so when we were walking, you can see here, we were ankle deep in mud. Every time I took a step, my foot slurped well down below the mud line there, and I got a lot of moisture in my shoe, and underneath all that mud were big, loose rocks. So I'd be taking a step, and my foot would roll to either side. And it was hard to get in the groove. The groove is important when you're hiking. You want to be able to kind of like relax and get in a zone. And I just wasn't able to do that, and I spent the time cursing myself because I should have been wearing these. Conversely, I did a little bit of technical hiking where I went out on these really cool cliff faces, and I wore these. And I probably shouldn't have, because I was climbing up some little rocks, I was having a fun little goofy adventure out there, and I remember thinking, okay, these things are a bit too heavy for what I was doing. It was getting kind of tiring, lugging my foot over these boulders, and I wish that I had a lighter shoe that I could maneuver a little bit more easily. The way I see it is that these, the Suburban Dads over here, are kind of the default. That's what you should have available at any point in time, and these are kind of the upgraded condition. You move to bigger, heavier boots when you're in a situation where you need it. Now, that's not advice that goes for everybody. Some people love hiking in big, heavy boots. Some people love hiking in tennis shoes, which leads me to my recommendation. I recommend, if you're just getting started, to buy these. Haha, I tricked you. So, money doesn't grow on trees, and I think that it's an important investment to get what you need up front. You'll find that when you're out there on the trail, especially if you're just a beginner and you're just getting started, that tennis shoes will oftentimes cut the mustard just fine. If you're just hiking your town trails, you don't have to have these, but if you do go backpacking at some point and you're in kind of a tricky situation, maybe there's a lot of mud, there's a lot of moisture, it is good to have these. It's good to have these if you're on really rocky terrain. It's good to have these if you're in a spot where these otherwise wouldn't cut it. But oftentimes when these would cut it, tennis shoes would also cut it. So I suggest investing in a decent pair of mid-weight boots. These are actually kind of a a poor choice for this comparison because these weigh like nothing, and I'm a really big fan of them. So that's my take on the whole shoes versus boots debate. I don't think it's much of a debate. It's conditional, it's kind of a cats versus dogs kind of thing, and it really all comes down to your comfort level and your preference. And if you still don't know, I suggest borrowing something from somebody. If you know somebody who's got some boots and they're about the same shoe size as you, borrow them and see what you think. That's about it from me. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you later.